Right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the Go DC Go residential webinar, where today we're focusing on DC Paratransit services. My name is Leslie Henderson. I work with Go DC Go. I'm a part of the residential services. I'm the residential services program coordinator. So I'm definitely glad to be here and with some great people in the industry and everything that they do to make sure that you have the paratransit services that you need. Any questions that you have, please hold them until the end of this webinar where we'll address the questions. So some of you are wondering, what exactly do we do here at Go DC Go? Well, first, I'm sorry, I'll start with us as the presenters. I introduce myself, and I want to have everyone introduce themselves, starting with Christopher Grayton.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Thank you for Ms. Henderson for inviting us. We all three appreciate it. Yeah, my name is Christopher Grayton. I am the Sales and Marketing Manager at DC Yellow Cab. That's the Yellow Cab Company of DC. You've probably seen the vehicles. I know it's yellow is in the name, but the color is red. You know, we always get that joke. I'm here to talk about a few programs for transportation for seniors and people with disabilities and some of the other services that we provide. I'll hand it over to Mr. Stover.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ty Stover. I am the grants manager for the Transport DC program, which I'll go over in a few minutes. I work with the Department of For-Hire Vehicles, the actual agency that sponsors and promotes the actual Transport DC grant program. Welcome.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Reginald Ward. I'm with WMATA. I'm the Senior Outreach Specialist for Metro. I'll be sharing some information with you today about Metro Access, reduced fare, and senior smart trip cards. And thank you once again for inviting me. Again, this is Reg, baby, signing out.
All right, thank you all so much. So our agenda this afternoon is going to be about Go DC Go. Then I'll go a little more into our residential services program. Then we'll go into Metro Access. We'll go into the Transport DC program, DC Yellow Cab, WMATA reduced fares programs, and then any questions that you may have. Right, so Go DC Go is an initiative of DDOT, the District Department of Transportation. We're a leading resource for transportation information and options. We also encourage the use of sustainable transportation, and we offer complimentary transit resources and consulting services to DC organizations and commuters. Our goal at Go DC Go is to serves to decrease traffic congestion, improve air quality, and create a better quality of life in the DC area. Right, so with being in the residential services coordinator, as you see here, we have a variety of services. For instance, if you're a property manager, then we can distribute surveys so all of us can learn the travel patterns of the residents. And so you're not assuming, we're not assuming, and we can make sure that you have the proper transportation materials and things that you need to really be efficient and help the residents navigate through DC. We also do things like capital bike share, bulk sales. So if you need to order any capital bike share, either annual memberships or 24-hour passes, definitely reach out. Right below is the link, godcgo.com/residential. And there you can schedule an appointment to speak with me and we'll get you all squared away. Any brochures you need. A lot of people don't know how to navigate DC, especially a lot of the new people in the city. They don't really know how to navigate, besides the train. So not only will I stop by your lobby and we'll hold a lobby event, and I'll help your residents with trip planning and they can get more information and ask questions. But we also send brochures to your property. For instance, if you live near a certain bus route or a circulator route, or you need some capital bike share information, then we will order that and have that delivered over to the property. Also, we help developers with zoning order assistance, where if you need to fulfill any type of transportation plans through the zoning department, you can reach out to us and we'll get you squared away with that. So how can we exactly help you? So what we do is provide information to your resident populations in need of accessible transportation options. We also integrate people with disabilities, seniors, and low-income individuals into the community through transportation, because we never want anyone to feel like they can't get around or they're stuck at home because they can't, access the bus or the rail. And so you definitely, want to know everything available to you, and you're not captive in your home. Also, we have trainings to educate the staff as well. Sometimes some staff have mentioned to me that they just point outside like, oh, well, there's a bus stop at the corner. Well, we come by and we do staff trainings on available resources and programs so that you're not in the dark if residents ask a question, or even if your staff utilizes public transportation to get to work. We also host lobby events, as mentioned, for residents on mobility services and alternative transportation options. Also, through our online interactive map, we do trip planning, and if you come to the lobby event with the smartphone or something, we can go through that as well. And anything else that you need help with transportation wise, just feel free to reach out to me. You'll see our contact information toward the end of this webinar this afternoon, and you can reach out to really any of us for assistance. All right, so right here, I'm actually going to turn it over to Mr. Reggie Ward, where he's going to go over more over the Metro Access Paratransit, and then I'll also show you a brief video.
Okay, hi. Again, my name is Reginald Ward, and I just wanted to talk a little about Metro Access. Metro Access is a shared door-to-door paratransit service for people with disabilities. Again, Metro Access, currently right now with Metro Access, we during the pandemic, we were only transporting one person at a time due to the pandemic. But however, since the numbers are going down, we're beginning to transport more people. Maybe 2 passengers at a time. So again, you won't find out on all your trips, but some of your trips, they do be 2 passengers up there due to the numbers coming down with the pandemic. Metro Access, what we try to do, our service will take you all over the DMV from Maryland, Virginia, and Washington, D.C. Wherever Metro buses go, Metro Access will take you there. This is a great service. The price, the most that we can charge you to ride Metro Access is $6.50 to ride Metro Access. Now, you may want to ask yourself the question, how do you qualify for Metro Access? Metro Access is not based on income. It is not based on age. You could be making $3,000 or you could be making $300,000 a year. You could be 14 years old, or you could be 114. You could qualify for Metro Access. But it's not based on income, and it's not based on age. It's based on your inability to ride the bus and the train on a regular basis. So what I mean by that, sometimes you have a disability that you can use the bus and the train on, and some days you can ride the bus and train, and some days that disability won't allow you to ride the bus and the train. For instance, if you're a person that's having going through cancer treatment, maybe as a chemo, you can't ride the bus. You can't ride the train. So you need Metro Access. Or if you're a person that has, say, a neurological disease, sometimes you can ride, sometimes you can't ride. So what I'm telling you, so once you decide you need Metro Access, what you would need to do is have your you would need to get an application. You can get the application from 202-962-1100, or you get to go to our website. That's where MARTA Open Doors, and get the application. But once you get the application, you would have your doctor complete that application stating your specific disability, the one that you're trying to get Metro Access for. So if you're trying to get Metro Access for orthopedics, then you have the orthopedic doctor do it. If you have congestive heart failure, then you have your cardiologist do it. But basically, so we can get a good description of what the person looks like in terms of making sure that you're eligible for this service. Now, sometimes people come in, there's 2 types of eligibility for Metro. There's fully conditional, there's fully eligible, and there's conditional eligible. Fully means that under no circumstances can I ever ride the bus and the train. And so you would get Metro Access card pretty much saying that. But if you are conditional, then that means some days my situation is better than others. and I can ride Metro Access, and I get a conditional eligibility card, which gives me the right to ride Metro Access when the days I need it and the days that I don't need it. I can ride Metro Bus and Rail free of charge. Again, there's no charge when you have the conditional, but fully, you come in with your disabilities, you basically saying, under no circumstance can I ever ride the bus and the train because of my disability, the way it affects me. So remember that when you're doing that. And currently what we're doing now during the pandemic, we used to come in and we would do an in-person evaluation to determine your eligibility for riding Metro Access. But right now, due to the pandemic, which may be getting better, we request you mail the application in. You mail the application in to us, and we have 14 to 21 days to process the application. But also, when you mail in, with this mail we're just talking about it, I suggest that you certify your application. So once you get it completed by your doctor, that you won't have to go do it again. Certify it and mail it to Metro, our headquarters, which is 600 5th Street, Northwest Washington, D.C. And we would process your application and get back to you in 14 to 21 days, let you know you're eligible for Metro Access service. Now, another thing, make sure the application, this is very important, that you put a correct phone number, a correct email address, and your correct home address. So if we had to contact you concerning your condition, we had any question about why you apply for Metro Access, then we could do that. And we could ask those questions and make sure you get the service that you deserve. Again, Metro Access is a service to take you anywhere that the bus and train takes you. DC, Maryland, and Virginia, it will take you there. And the most we can charge you on any ride is $6.50 to ride Metro Access. Some trips may cost you $3, some may cost you $4. It just depends on where you're going and the time of day you're going on Metro Access. I would encourage you, if you need the service, to make sure you apply for the service. Again, it's not based on age, it's not based on income, it's based on your inability to ride the bus and the train on a regular basis. So if you have questions, I guess I'll answer them at the end, but that's a little summary about Metro Access. So if you need the service, feel free to qualify for it, but just make sure your doctor put the specific things there that you are requesting, your specific health needs that you're concerned about on your application, so we can make the best decision regarding your Metro Access application. Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you so much, Reggie, for going over that. And he went over a lot of this slide here. Did you, Reggie, want to add anything else to the eligibility?
Okay, this slide for it talks about the use of all our vans have wheelchairs. All our vans are accessible. Right now, what we're doing, if you would call in and you'd say you tell us that you are wheelchair user, then we would send a van out to you to pick you up. And if you got a PC, we would do that as well. Again, all the vans are accessible. All our vans, there are plenty of space on our van. What we're doing also, due to the pandemic, each van, when it comes off the route, we wipe it down, we clean it up, we make sure that it's safe for you to ride. Also, you have to, when you're riding Metro Access vans now, you must have a mask on when you're riding our vans and stuff. You can call once you, and we request that you don't engage in a lot of conversation with the van drivers because they're focused on what they're doing. We have some customers that like to tell our van drivers on what direction they should take during their trip, and they wonder, but our van drivers know that they got a GPS they go by. So that's that. But again, all our vans are accessible, got ramps, lifts, and everything like that. Okay, and we're constantly wiping out our vans to make sure they're safe during the pandemic time. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you again, Reggie, for breaking that down for everyone. Now I'm going to play a brief video, which goes over a few of the guidelines of Metro Access.
Hi, this is Omari June, Director of Metro Access. For the safety of our customers, Metro Access provides door-to-door service. This video is designed to give you an overview of what customers can expect when a Metro Access driver provides door-to-door service. Throughout this instructional video, we will demonstrate how door-to-door service works and discuss the responsibilities of both the customer and the staff of Metro Access. Let's get started.
What is considered door-to-door service? As its name suggests, door-to-door service means that Metro Access drivers escort the customers from the outermost exterior door of the customer's pickup address onto the vehicle and from the vehicle to the outermost exterior door of the customer's drop-off address. Door-to-door service is provided wherever it is safe to do so. Metro Access drivers will make every effort to provide each customer with door-to-door service. To receive door-to-door service, the following conditions must be met. The outermost exterior door must be no more than 150 feet from the vehicle. There must be a direct, accessible path and safe access from the vehicle to the door. The driver must be able to maintain sight of the vehicle at all times. There must be safe parking on a public roadway or public parking lot. The parked vehicle must not block or impede traffic. Obscured doorways. Any doorway that is hidden, that cannot be easily accessed by a driver, or is beyond the sight of the vehicle. In these situations, the customer must be present at the curb at the beginning of their pickup window. Unsafe parking and no parking zones. If a driver cannot park safely or legally at the pickup location, customers will be expected to meet the driver at the curb at the beginning of their pickup window. Due to the no parking zone enforcement at all airports, curb-to-curb service will be provided if an airport is a customer's origin or destination. Unsafe driving maneuvers. Backing, driving through tight spaces, driving on unpaved surfaces. Unsafe pathways. If a pathway to the door is covered in ice or presents a hazard to the driver's safety, customers must present themselves at the curb. This includes if the pathway is obstructed by a pet. If any of the conditions are not met, the location is considered non-serviceable for door-to-door, and the driver will render curb-to-curb service. Upon arriving at the door for a pickup, drivers will knock and identify themselves as Metro Access. Customers are to display a valid Metro Access ID card and pay exact fare before boarding the vehicle. Please note, at public entrances, drivers may open the first exterior door to announce their arrival. However, they may not enter the building. If the entrance has a second vestibule door nearby that leads to a waiting area, drivers may open the second door to announce their arrival, but will not proceed into the waiting area. Drivers are not permitted to open doors at private locations or residences. Upon arrival at the drop-off address, drivers will perform door-to-door service if safe to do so, but they are strictly prohibited from waiting with customers at their destination. What are the responsibilities of Metro Access and its drivers under the door-to-door policy? All Metro Access customers have the right to receive assistance to and from all Metro Access drivers from the door of their home, office building, doctor's office, grocery store, or any place they may travel, to the door of their assigned Metro Access vehicle. In addition, under the policy, drivers are required to ask customers to show a valid Metro Access ID card and collect full fare for trip before boarding the vehicle. Ask the customer, "How may I assist you?" Offer the use of a posy belt, safety belt for boarding and travel to customers using a wheelchair or scooter. Accompany and assist the customer along the entire path of travel between the first exterior door and the vehicle. Maneuver the customer's manual wheelchair per customer's approval or request. Allow customers to hold the driver's arm for balance. Carry a limited number of packages for the customer, which must not exceed a total of 40 pounds or require more than one trip to the exterior door. Drivers must not attempt to carry packages while escorting the rider to and from the door. The customer may choose whether packages are carried or customer is escorted first. Escort the customer on and off the vehicle, operate vehicle lift if required, and ensure proper securement of the customer, including seatbelt securement and mobility devices. Posy belts are optional. All customers have the right to travel with one personal care assistant, PCA, and should indicate their intent to do so when making a reservation. Depending on the nature and severity of one's disability, customers may require additional assistance from a PCA. Customers who cannot travel safely or comfortably without being accompanied by or met by a PCA may not ask Metro Access drivers to fulfill PCA duties. Metro Access drivers are strictly prohibited from the following: assisting a customer using a wheelchair up or down steps or curbs, waiting with a customer at their destination, handling a service animal, entering or unlocking a customer's private residence at any time, operating the controls of an electronically operated mobility device, making personal unscheduled stops at the request of the customer, assisting a customer with changing oxygen canisters, providing physical support for a customer to walk between the vehicle and the outermost exterior of the pickup or destination, assisting a customer in removing a jacket and/or repositioning in a wheelchair. Metro Access drivers will treat you with courtesy and dignity as they escort you to and from the main door of your pickup and drop-off locations and help you get on and off the vehicle. They can stow small personal belongings, but if you need other types of assistance, such as filling prescriptions, managing several bags or packages, etc., please bring along a PCA. Metro Access drivers must ensure that all customers and their mobility aids are properly secure prior to moving the vehicle. What are the responsibilities of the Metro Access customer? Customers must be present at the outermost exterior door for boarding with exact fare and Metro Access photo ID card at the beginning of their pickup window. Drivers are obligated to wait 5 minutes from arrival within the pickup window. By being readily available to board the vehicle when your ride arrives, you are helping Metro Access meet its goal of arriving on time for the next drop-off and pickup, thereby increasing the performance of the overall service. While it is every customer's right to refuse door-to-door service, all drivers are required to escort the customer from the door of their origin to the vehicle and from the vehicle to the door of the customer's destination. The driver must maintain visual contact of the customer until the customer reaches the door of their destination. Also, the driver may not pull away from the stop until the customer reaches the door of their destination. Customers should understand that Metro Access drivers cannot fulfill PCA duties. The Metro Access customer is responsible for making arrangements for any assistance needed beyond the driver's escort to and from the door. What are the door-to-door policy vehicle wait times? Metro Access drivers will wait for the customer 5 minutes from their arrival within the pickup window at the pickup location for a customer to present themselves for boarding. They will wait 1 minute at the door for the customer. If the customer is not present for boarding within that time, the driver will return to the vehicle and request that the Metro Access call center begin the no-show authorization process. Call center personnel will then verify that the driver is at the correct location and make a good faith effort to call the customer before authorizing the driver to proceed to the next destination. If the customer can be reached and becomes available for boarding while the driver is still on site during this process, the driver will return to the door to assist the customer to the vehicle. Customers who are not ready for boarding upon the driver's arrival and are still not present at the end of the 5-minute waiting period will be considered a no-show and will be subject to the terms and conditions of Metro Access late cancellation and no-show policy. We are hopeful that by providing door-to-door service, we may see a reduction in no-shows. It is the goal of Metro Access to always connect with customers and provide their scheduled ride. When customers do not cancel at least 2 hours in advance, or are not available to board within 5 minutes, it is considered a no-show. Customers can prevent no-show situations when they review dates, times, and addresses with the reservationist to be sure information is correct. Call Metro Access and cancel rides as soon as the ride is no longer needed. Cancel at least 2 hours before the start of the 30-minute pickup window. Are prepared to board at the starting time of the pickup window and within 5 minutes after the vehicle arrives.
Again, the overall goal of Metro Access is to provide our customers with the safest, best service possible. And with your support, everyone will benefit from our door-to-door service. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to serving you.
All right. So hopefully that video was informational for you. Of course, there's been some staff changes since that video, but and I know that Reggie can speak more on that. That most of that information is still in effect when you're on Metro Access or trying to get an appointment. Because I know a lot of you, when I go to your apartments, you mentioned that you've been left, or nobody's reached out to you from the office. So definitely wanted to show you those are kind of some of the guidelines on when you're riding or trying to ride Metro Access. And Reggie, did you have anything else you wanted to add to the video?
Just wanted to say that, make sure you have the right number. So in the event that you're out there and the van drivers they don't see you at your location, if you have the right phone number, they'll call the call center. The call center will call you on your cell phone and say, look, we're at the corner of the street and we don't see you. And you'd say, well, I'm at the next door down. So that's the most important thing. Make sure they have when you make your reservation, make sure you give them the right number so they can contact you. So in the event that they don't see you if you at your destination. But overall, that summarizes everything that we've seen just a few minutes ago. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Reggie. All right, and now we've reached the Transport DC program from the Department of For Hire Vehicles. And I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Ty Stover. And then also know, Chris, you also, your work with Yellow Cab also kind of integrates in this program as well. So as you two see fit, you all can also provide information from the slides. Okay, Ty, I'm getting ready to hand this over to you now.
All right, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ty Stover. I am the grants manager for the Transport DC program with Department for Hire Vehicles. Department for Hire Vehicles provides for hire services and grant programs for residents of the District of Columbia, as well as a host of other services for the for hire industry. What I'm going to concentrate and focus on are the Transport DC program, so I'll get into it. The first thing I wanted to do is kind of give you a little bit of background on Transport DC. Transport DC, or TDC, as you may colloquially hear it being called, with a $5, $7 cab ride, is a program that represents a partnership between WMATA and Department for Hire Vehicles, WMATA being the Washington Metropolitan Area Transit Authority. It provides a premium same-day service that's cost-effective to most of the eligible customers of the WMATA Metro Access Service Program. Transport DC was started about October 2014 as a program created exclusively for dialysis centers customers. We expanded that about 6 to 7 months later in May of 2015 to include locations throughout the District of Columbia. So unlimited locations for the first half of the month and restricted locations for the second half. But I'll go into a little bit detail on updates in that in a couple of slides. Next slide. Okay, so how does Transport DC work? Transport DC, again, is a same-day, cost-effective program designed for both the Metro Access customers in the District of Columbia. How do you become a participant in the Transport DC program? Well, kind of as Reginald talked about earlier, our eligibility is via the Metro Access program. So if you're eligible under Metro Access, then you're automatically eligible under the Transport DC program. Anyone who's determined eligible can use our services. The service hours for Transport DC are 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, notwithstanding any snow emergencies or weather conditions or anything that may take place. But those are communicated to customers via the 1844 line that customers call in on, as well as our updates on our website. If you want to book a trip, you can book a trip by calling the 1844-322-7732 line 24 hours a day. Okay, next slide. So these are some of the program updates that I was just speaking on. Currently and effectively as of fiscal year 2022, which is October 1, 2021, our copay for each participant or customer is $7 for each one-way trip. So anytime you book a ride, that's considered a one-way trip. That trip is $7. Verified trips to and from approved dialysis centers are unlimited throughout the entirety of the month. So for those customers that have dialysis center needs, you will become, you can go back and forth to those center locations as long as you filled out some paperwork, submitted it in, it's approved, and you can go to that. But it still takes a $7 copay per trip. TDC customers or Transport DC customers only have 10 one-way trips for the entirety of the month. So this has changed a lot drastically from if you had other friends or no other customers that have used Transport DC in the past before October, where there were unlimited trips, but they were restricted to certain locations. Now you have unlimited locations, but now your trips are capped. So you have 10 one-way trips. So one trip going is considered a trip returning back is considered another trip. Okay. And again, I want to reiterate, trip locations are unrestricted within the district borders throughout the entirety of it. Another thing that I wanted to please let everyone know, as many people as possible, is that we actually have ways to join in and give us some feedback, give comments, and just participate in what we're doing with the Transport DC user program, Transport DC program. We basically call it a Transport DC user group meeting. Those meetings are every month. They're held on the first Wednesday of every month from 6 until 7:30. You can call in, you can dial in, you can use a Zoom. We used to have it with physical, but due to the pandemic and COVID, right now we're just strictly remote, but we're hoping to get to that in live session where you can do all three formats again, call in, web, as well as be present. If you need any information about that or Transport DC, you can contact Transport DC at dc.gov, and I'll definitely give back information and we'll provide you with anything you need to know. Next slide. Okay, so right here we're showing an actual Transport DC where you can call in to the 1-844 number. That number again is 1-844-322-7732. Again, it's 7 days per week, 24 hours per day. We're located, the actual Department for High Vehicles is located in Ward 8 in Southeast on 2022-35 Shannon Place, Southeast. And again, you can contact and give us a call at any time. And that's Transport DC. Are you in the know? I'll translate this over to Chris because this is where Chris can jump in. And I'm Ty Stover. Thank you.
Thank you, Ty. Hi, my name is Christopher Grayton. Mr. Stover went over a lot of the details of the Transport DC program, and he was pretty accurate on everything, every little detail. I created this, well, let me introduce myself. I'm sorry. My name is Christopher Grayton. I'm with DC Yellow Cab. I'm the sales and marketing manager for DC Yellow Cab, and I represent the Transport DC program throughout the city, a lot of speaking engagements and events and such. I also partner with Mr. Ward with Metro Access because these programs are connected through the Metro Access users. But I created this guide to be something that's pretty much succinct, one pager that allows you to know as much about the program as possible, something you can carry with you and reference. So I have this digitally, but I take it in print format in English and in Spanish at a lot of the events that I attend. But let's just get started. To just recap what Mr. Stover talked about, when you want to register for Metro Access to be a part of the program, you have to go in that order. You can't just call from day one and call the 1-844 number. You have to be a registered Metro Access user. And remember, this is people who live in the District of Columbia and they have a diagnosed disability. So those are the requirements in essence for this program. You call the same number Mr. Ward gave earlier. You call 202-962-1100. That is to register as a user, to get information, application, and get the whole process started. It couldn't hurt when you tell them that you're doing this, that you want to use this to register for Transport DC program. Christian Blake, one of the upper management members of Metro Access, says it's okay to refer to that because they know they're trying to streamline the process to get users to this program. This program is an on-demand service. So where Metro Access is a high quality program that allows you to travel to DC, Maryland, Virginia, this is a DC-based program. So he's trying to encourage people to use this for on-demand right away, that type of thing. So it makes it more efficient for users. Now to book, you must speak with an operator. And remember, with this program, this is supported by taxi companies. So there are 3 taxi companies that are involved in this program. I myself represent one of the vendors. I represent DC Yellow Cab, and there are 2 other companies. So when you call, you must identify to the operator that this is Transport DC. It's very important, because when you're booking this, it's important that you make sure this is booked under the Transport DC account, so there's no confusion and you don't have to pay full price at the end. That's the thing we don't want to happen. So DFHV, the Department for Hire Vehicles, they put in a lot of processes to help us to identify users, so these things just don't happen anymore. So it's really a great process. So when you book, you call the 1-844-322-7732 number. Again, you can call that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And remember to have your Metro Access ID ready. So after you've registered, you get your Metro Access ID, you're going to have that ready, because the operator is going to use that to verify some information, verify that you're a current registered Metro Access user. So when you call the 844 number, we used to be able to pre-book for people that are used to this program, but you can't pre-book anymore. It's for specific things you can, but not for general use, but you call for right-of-way use. So you call in when you want to go across town to see a friend, go see a movie, go to the grocery store, or of course for medical needs. You can use this program, and it's really a great program. Now, and for people that have been using this for years, they used to, when we used to call, or the public used to call, the $5 cab. So now it's referred to as the $7 cab, which is fine, because now you have the flexibility that you didn't have before. Used to be with the program, you go from the 1st to the 15th. Now it's all month long that you can use the service. But again, it's up to 10 trips per month that you're allotted. So remember, don't go over the 10 trips, because if you do, then you have to pay a full price fare. But right now it's just $7. And you're talking about a program that allows you to go from one point of the city to the other end of the city. So you can go from Southeast DC all the way up to Sibley Hospital, and all you're paying is $7. So that program is very, very popular. It's very affordable, and it's very convenient. So a lot of people like it. Now with this program, you can also take some of the similar guidelines for Metro Access, because this is based on Metro Access program guidelines as an alternative to Metro Access. You can also bring 2 additional passengers with you at no extra charge. So you have 3 people that can ride in a taxi cab 24 hours a day in this service, and all you're paying is $7. That's very, very good, very convenient. And also with this program, you can request, because this is a paratransit-based program, you can request wheelchair accessible. So it's also important when you call and you book your taxi service that if you need wheelchair accessible vehicles, that is a vehicle that has a wheelchair accessible ramp or lift for someone who cannot transfer from a wheelchair into say a seat in a sedan, which we do have. We have people that call and they can transfer, so they'll let us know so we can send them a sedan. But if you absolutely require wheelchair accessible, please make sure you request it when you call, because we want to make sure we send the right vehicle for your needs. Okay, it's very important. But yeah, you can request that. Now, also with what Ty stated earlier about dialysis trips, yeah, it's really a great service for people who need to have scheduled rides, and then those you can pre-book. Scheduled rides for dialysis service. Now that is a very important service. We have a lot of passengers that use the service regularly with this, and if this is something that you qualify for through the pre-qualification program and some registration that you go through with the Department for Hire Vehicles, once you get on that list, then you are exempt from certain things by using this service for dialysis trips. But again, when you use this program, you're going to find the ease of use is you just basically calling when you're ready, because it is on demand. We have a lot of satisfaction by using the service from its participants. And if you have any questions about anything, of course, you'll let us know, but you also will call them in. And I have a brief little video presentation that I have that will also present that information, the number to call for the Department of Hire Vehicles, who is the governing agency for the Transport DC program. Next slide, please. So this is in essence the beginning of my presentation, but that last slide was something I presented, and that's okay, because we do have things that have some synergy. Next slide, please.
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is a little brief video that I put together. Something that goes over the program guidelines, pretty much the same thing from the slides. slide we just showed, but it has a little music to it so you don't fall asleep. This is something we have on our social media sites, some of the other informational pages that we have out there. So let's take a quick look and turn your volume down, maybe a little bass heavy, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, everyone on, just let me know if it's loud or if you can hear it, or just one moment.
And that gives you a general idea. And again, it's on our social media sites. So if you look us up on Facebook, Instagram, and of course Twitter, which we're on a lot, you see the same type of presentations. Any kind of guideline program changes that happen from the Department for Hired Vehicles, we also try to share and update that on our website to keep the public up to date. Next slide, please. Okay. You must have.
All right, there we go.
So well, this is actually a different step, but I just want to say a few more things. With DC Yellow Cab, we have quite a few services that we offer, and a lot of these programs are government-based programs. These are programs that are run or created by DC government, which is awesome. Also with Metro Access, and there's another one for seniors. It's called Senior Med Express. I probably should have put that in the deck, but I can just talk about it very briefly. It allows free trips for medical purposes to seniors that qualify for the Department of Aging and Community Living. And you can travel within the District of Columbia and slightly outside for pre-approved locations that have been previously used with prior programs, people that pre-qualify for that or that were grandfathered in. This program is from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. For people that use dialysis services, they also allow a Saturday travel if they have appointments that are scheduled for Saturdays. That telephone number to discuss that with the Department of Aging and Community Living is 202-724-5626. And again, that's called Senior Med Express. Another program that we participate in is called Abilities Rides, and that is with Metro Access as well. This is another alternative to the typical service that we all know and love from Metro Access. This program allows you to also contact your preferred taxi companies. Okay, sorry, thank you. I see there's a request for the ads, and I'll put that in chat. I definitely will. Allow you to access these services with through a program called Abilities Rides. To get in contact with them about that, that is 202-281-8984. And that program allows you to choose a taxi service to also get around the city and around the area. That program is also free to use. Okay, but yeah, there's many programs that we're involved in. DC Yellow Cab has DC Yellow Cab app. We also have a website that allows people to book 24 hours a day, 7 days a week called ycride.com. It's YC, just like Yellow Cab, ride.com, and many, many other services. So appreciate your time. Leslie, thank you for allowing me to speak about Yellow Cab and all the things that we provide in conjunction with DC government and Metro Access. And we'll look forward to, if you have any questions or comments, just give it to us after this presentation is done, and I'll be more than happy to answer it. I'll put some more information about this in the chat window.
Okay, Chris, thank you so much. And again, I'm glad that all of you could make it today because so many people ask about paratransit and they're not sure. So this is a great breakdown of everything that's available and what the residents and property managers need to do to be able to better accommodate themselves with these programs. So I'm getting ready to turn it back over to Reggie to go over the reduced fare programs.
Hello again, this is Reggie Reg with Reduced Fare Programs. Babe, I'm gonna give it to you. I'm gonna give it to you just as quick as I can give it to you, but I will share some important information. Let me talk about a reduced fare. First of all, reduced fares for people with disabilities. So you can travel on the metro, bus, and rail and travel half fare with the reduced fare. Now you may ask the question, who qualifies for the reduced fare? Say if you're a person that is having hearing loss, you would qualify for reduced fare. Some of the people that come in that apply for Metro Access really don't qualify for Metro Access. They qualify for the reduced fare. The reduced fare program is we have a lot of, again, those ages are from 14 to 60, I say 64. Because if you're over the age of 64, you don't need to apply for the reduced fare program. You would apply for the senior smart trip card. That's a 65 years age. You get the senior smart trip card, which gives you the same benefit as a reduced fare. Reduced fares for people. We have a lot of young adults, teenagers, and some folks say, you know what, I don't like that idea of riding the van, but I have a disability, and so because you have a disability, you get half fare to ride the bus and the train. Again, your disability could be hearing impaired. You could have congestive heart failure. You could have some orthopedic needs, but you just don't want to ride Metro Access. So we'll put you on reduced fare with that. So when every time you ride the bus and the train, you would only pay half fare. Now there is an application for this process. You have your doctor do the application. This application is not as long as the Metro Access application. It's about a 2-page application. You would put your app, you have the doctor complete this application, and you would send it into our office, and we would come in and we would take a picture ID once you approve, and this is what you would use to ride the reduced fare. Ride the bus and the train. Again, this is a good card for persons and individuals that have a disability. Now, again, there's no income requirement for this either. You don't have to be, there's no certain income requirement. There's no age requirement. It's just that you need to be able to independently ride the bus and the train by yourself. Okay. So if you, we have a lot of teenagers that have the reduced fare because they have a disability. 14, 15 years old, they ride the bus and train, and they get a reduced fare for riding the bus and the train. Now, again, then we have people come in, we have seniors come in who have a disability and they're 65. Now they say, I want to renew my reduced fare card, but we tell them you don't need to do that. What you need to do is get this senior smart trip card, and that senior smart trip card gives them the same discount as a reduced fare card giver. Because you're a senior 65 years young, you can get a reduced fare card, and there's no application process for that senior smart trip card. All you have to do is show your ID, and you can get that from some of our local community stores in Silver Springs, Maryland. We can get it in Metro Center at 12th and F in Washington, D.C. And in Prince George's County, you can get it in the Prince George's County Library. In Montgomery County, in the Montgomery County Library, you can get those cards, and in Virginia as well. You get the senior smart trip card. And what that card does for you, it allows you to ride the bus and the train half fare all day, every day, 365 days a year for Metro Bus and Rail. That card is good. Once you get a senior smart trip card, you won't need to get another. That card does not expire. There's no expiration date on that card. Like with the reduced fare card, there's an expiration date on that card. You have to renew it every 2 to 3 years, depending on your disability. But with the senior smart trip card, that card had no expiration date on it. It's like you're married to that card. You can separate from it, but you can't, you can't divorce it. It's yours forever and ever. When you die, that'll be your card. It's still your card. So that senior smart trip card is your card forever and ever. So that's a good card for our seniors to get. I encourage you, if you're 65 and you say, you know what, I still like to ride that bus and train, go get your senior smart trip card so you can ride that bus and train, and you can ride it every day, 365, every day, all day for a half fare. So if you're senior now that got the reduced fare card and you're about to turn 65, don't go about getting another reduced fare card. Just get your senior smart trip card, okay? And that card, you can use that on the bus in DC, Maryland, Virginia. But however, if you're a DC resident, then what you want to do, you want to get that DC1 card, which now has the senior smart card attached to it. And that's free for all DC residents. That card has the access to the public library, to Department of Rec facilities in DC. That's free just for DC residents. So if you're a DC resident, I would encourage you to call DC1 card. And I think their hours are on Monday from 10 to 2, I think. And you get that DC1 card now, which has the senior smart card chip attached to it. And you can get that card free of charge for all DC residents. But just to remind you, to get a senior card, you have to load money on those cards to ride, for the discount rate, just like you would do for a regular senior smart card. But for other, if you are Prince George and Montgomery County, then you would have to buy your senior smart card. But again, if you are a person with a disability and you enjoy using the bus and the train, and you know that, and you do know you have a disability, complete the app. I encourage you to complete that application, and for you to get the reduced fare card, and you can begin riding the bus and the train and pay half fare every day you ride the bus and the train. I want to thank you for that. Thank you, and I think that's about it with the reduced fare card. Again, this is Reggie Red, your Metro Voices, signing out. You're muted. You're muted.
All right, sorry about that, everyone. Hey, thank you so much, Reggie, for that. I want to see if you could also put that DC1 card information in the chat for people, so for people now and for people later on that are watching this. Because when I go to properties and I discuss that DC1 card, some people are new. A lot of people are new in the city, or people have been here for a while, but they never knew about it. So that's definitely something good and very important for all DC residents to know.
Yes, yes.
Okay. All right, and he covered a lot of this information. Reggie, if you wanted to go over this again, the qualifications, because I know a lot of you all have that question.
Okay, I'll do that. People with disabilities who use accessible blue and red public transportation, the minimum age to apply for this program is 5 years old. Again, there's no age requirement, but the majority of people that normally qualify for reduced fare, I would say it's between the ages of 11 and up to 64 to get the reduced fare. Senior citizens, if you're 65 years old, like I said earlier, you don't need to you don't need to worry about this this reduced fare during the application process any longer. Because you're 65, all you have to do is get that senior smart trip card. There's no application process for you. You're blessed because you do no application. You can get that senior card with no application. Just you purchase it. If you're in the surrounding counties, Montgomery County, Prince George County, but if you're in DC, go to DC1 and get that card free of charge for all DC residents. Medicare recipients under the age of 65 automatically qualify for reduced fare, do not need to complete an application. Again, disabled veterans who have been granted a 6% or greater disability and rated by the Department of Veteran Affairs don't need to complete. They qualify, they qualify for it too. These are some of the people that qualify for the reduced fare. Again, if you do have a disability and you're not 65 and you're not really interested in it, and you're still very independent, you're not really interested in paratransit, then reduced fare is the way to go, because that will give you access to ride the bus and the train every day, all day for half fare on your trips. Okay, so I would encourage you to do that. Thank you. Is there the next slide?
All right, and right here, this is just a residential poll, really, of you can text your response to Go DC Go Team 141. You can text that to 22333, or you can respond at pollev.com/Go DC Go Team 141. Main thing, it seems like a gimme, you'd be surprised. So knowing the transportation options near your property or home is important.
Yes.
Okay, yes, okay. And since you said yes, which all of you should, even for those of you who are going to watch this later, it's time for you to schedule your free property consultation today. I like to remind a lot of you all, because I know a lot of you reach out to me and ask, how much is it? This is free. This is a service. We're a service through DDOT, and please schedule your free property consultation with me today. If you go to the link here, calendly.com patreon.com/Leslie-Henderson, my name. Schedule your appointment, your date and time, and we can get started on the needs for your property. Or if any of you all are just here from the general public and you have additional questions, you have any questions or you need anything, definitely don't hesitate to reach out. Again, now, does anyone, I saw a few people that were kind of in and out on this call today. Does anyone have any questions, or any of the panelists even, if there's any questions? Oh, okay, well, if there's no, oh, I'm sorry.
And yes, I got a question. So I'm just trying
Sure.
to get clear. So what you do, you go around to different senior venues and you talk to people about transportation.
Yeah, and not just senior, everywhere throughout all 8 wards, anywhere ranging from apartments to condos to different, if anyone wants me like at a community meeting or something, just, feel free to reach out. But yeah, but I noticed that when I go to especially just different properties in general, many began asking me, well, what about Metro Access? We hear a lot about the bus and the train, but, how can I get to the grocery store more efficient? How can I get to the doctor more efficient? And that's when I was like, well, you know what? We really need to put something together about more paratransit services. And then I saw a lot of you all and I was introduced to you all. So I said, I need to, I definitely wanted us to do this so that even if people that couldn't watch this afternoon live, they can go back. And y'all, again, this will be available this is being recorded. This will be available on our YouTube channel. So you can view this if you couldn't make it here this afternoon. But yeah, Reggie, to sum it up, I travel around and, help people with their transportation options. And I'm just glad to be partnered with all of you all so I can also begin to give out more paratransit information for people. I've had a lot of doctors at certain properties say, oh, I need some of these applications for my clinic or something. So I've been giving that out as well, since the doctors, you all mentioned the doctor also has to fill out the Metro Access form. So that's pretty much, sums it up. Also help people, developers with their zoning needs for upcoming properties throughout the city, or if they have to add on certain things required from the Department of Zoning. So some of you that may watch this, I've probably been to your property, and we do repeat trips, as well, because, you can never have enough information. People will always have questions, and we just want you all to know that, we are here for you, no matter where you are across the 8 wards. We can come out and visit your property. We can talk with you, whether it's virtual, because we know despite things, opening up here in DC, a lot of people are still, at home, and, we definitely understand. So whether you virtual or in person, we do that. We also do bicycle demos as well. So anybody that may want to ride a Capital Bike Share, but they're like, wait, I need to learn how to ride a bike, or I need to learn more about how to use Capital Bike Share, we'll come out and do bicycle demonstrations as well. If you all know people at properties where their staff may need training, on transportation options, we do staff trainings as well.
Thank you, Les. Thank you so much.
Okay, and so again, you can reach out to any of us regarding anything that we do throughout our programs and departments. Again, and I just wanted to give a special thanks again to Christopher Grayton of Yellow Cab for his expertise and for coming on this webinar today. I wanted to thank Ty Stover from the DC Department for Hire Vehicles for his expertise. And again, a thanks to Mr. Reggie Ward for his senior expertise. And I'll let him also tell you more about the travel training program. I thought it was very interesting, also when I learned about that as well. And I do visit a lot of senior properties also. So if you want to touch base for a minute, Mr. Ward, and just talk more about the travel training program.
Okay, you know what? That's a program that the reason I didn't touch base, because right now, due to the pandemic, that program has been on hold because of the pandemic, and we're not been doing it. But prior to the pandemic, what we would do, if a person who was interested in learning more about the bus and the rail system, and say you had been off the bus and the train for system for 25 or 30 years, and you were still thinking about how the old bus used to be in the old train system. So what we would set up a time to meet with you and see what your needs were and where do you want to, and talk to you about, we'd do an assessment to see exactly where you were, how you want to be trained. And we would, if they said bus, then we would show you how to ride the bus and the train to any location you want to ride to. Well, that training would consist of, crossing the streets, being safe on the bus, how to load your fare card, and we would try to train you at a time that is convenient for you. And sometimes the training would take 2 to 3 days, just depending on your functional level, your functionality. Now, oftentimes we've trained a lot of senior citizens who stepped away from the bus and rail for years, and they just want to refresh a course. So it take a couple hours. We go out and show them the bus, and they're like, "Oh, I know the bus that." And we talk about the accessibility features on the bus and the train. A lot of buses have lifts and ramps now, so you can board the bus if you're in a wheelchair. Talk about how to load the smart trip cards. We talk about the cameras that we have on the bus to be safe for you while you're traveling. We show you all the safety features on the train and the bus for this process. Again, this process, it depends on your functionality. Some people we can train in a day. Some people it takes maybe 2 days of training. But about the object of the game, we train you to where you want to go. Say for instance, you're saying that you live in Northeast and you want to be trained. You got a church out in Maryland. We will show you how to ride the bus or the train, whichever you prefer, how to get there, how to ride the bus and train to that location, how to return. And we would train you until we felt like you independently, that you could do it by yourself. But once we felt you could do it by yourself, then we would shadow you for maybe a couple of hours to make sure that you are familiar with how you do that. For the most part now, I mean, in the past before the pandemic, we were training, we would train we would train people with disabilities, younger people, maybe between the ages of 18 and 21, to their job site, to their day program. And for the seniors, a lot of times we train seniors we've trained some seniors that had moved into DC from Maryland and were interested in going back to visit their friends. And they found out that riding the cab service, we had one senior that we trained, she was paying like $25, $30 to ride from DC out to Bowie, Maryland, for a cab trip to visit her friends. So when we showed her how to ride the train to New Carrollton and catch the bus out to Bowie, well, she was a senior, so she got a senior discount. That trip went from $25 to about like $5 one way, round trip $10. So those are the things to do. Travel training exposes our people to a lot of independence. Travel training, we're hoping travel training will get started sometimes in the near future. But right now, travel training is on hold. But that program is for individuals that want to learn how to ride the bus and the train to any location that the bus and the train will take you. Again, that's a free service. No income requirement. It's just that you got to be old enough to ride the train and the bus independently by yourself. So that's the only thing about that. If you're interested, once we get started again, what you would do, you can call 202-962-1100, ask for travel training, and they'll do an intake, and somebody from the travel training department will get in contact with you about showing you how to ride the bus and the train to any location that you want to go to, that the bus and the rail goes to. Thank you so much.
Right, you're welcome. And thank you all again. And again, this is our contact information. So feel free to reach out to any of us if you need anything or you have any additional questions. And that is the end of the presentation this afternoon. I wanted to thank all our presenters. I wanted to thank the guests who came on today, anybody who was listening. And again, we have plenty of webinars, that we do have throughout the course of the year. So definitely stay tuned on our website for additional webinar information. And if you haven't already, go to godcgo.com/residential to sign up for more residential updates and events and webinars. All right, thank you everyone, and have a wonderful afternoon.